welcome to this video on FBC firebreak. This game, when it released, and even nowadays, it's not that good overall. It is really fun, it is a very good game, there's a lot of cool elements to it, but even Remedy said that and that's the developers of this game if you did not know, said that they are going to introduce some more. And I am going to suggest a couple things here and there, because this game, at base, is genuinely really thought through and really fun. Like, for an example, each one of these kits allows you to do some pretty intense things. And I will show off a snippet of each one, around 5 minutes-ish for each one, going through the first area of the mission I'm going to do, at least try to do solo later if I have enough time. But each one of these allows you to do so many different things for teamwork and cooperative strategy, because it is meant to be each one works together in a tight-knit formation, and that's why you can only have 3 players per team, and all these different things. They allow you to do so many just intricate things that I do think some of them need to be buffed. Specifically, jump kit and fix kit aren't anywhere near as good as splash kit. That was surprisingly hard to say. Jump kit, I don't know exactly what to do there, but fix kit, its melee attack should be a good front and center. And Hank, one of the people that you hear a lot actually, he says bash kit when you equip fix kit. There could be, to make it more of a melee focus versus what it is now, a different sub kit. Like, with guns, there is a way to change its look. Something like that would allow more flexibility, and you could actually have more, basically tacticals and supers for this game to allow you to have more customization. As it stands, there isn't a whole lot of unique personal kit adjustments, except for the perk system itself, which is pretty intense and allows you to do some pretty intensive things. Like, just wet alone allows you to do some pretty cool things, combines with some things here and there, and all sorts of different things. And I'm saying things a lot, but there is a lot of things to do. This game, like I said, should or could do some things here and there, like have a sub kit where you can have the fix kit, the bash kit, jump kit, and like laser kit, I guess, keeping with the same idea of electrical charge and discharge, with the ability of the thing itself, but changing it from charge up blast to a brrr, but might not be able to charge things, might be more just focused on the damaging side of things than the charging side of things when it comes to elemental debuffs. This could have, instead of the splashing, it could have more of like an ice effect, where instead of the rev up or the big glob that you're going to see later, and you're going to see all these later, like I said, it could have more of like a ice tornado going forward, where it can affect your allies and affect you pretty easily, but it allows you to freeze what's ahead and slow them down instead of just splashing them. And just splashing them sounds pretty bad, but it actually is pretty good for the stun effect, the ability to get rid of fire on your allies and yourself, and if you pair it with electricity, which is why I have the shock grenade there, it allows you to shock, I think, easier. It doesn't specify exactly what it does, but I think it lets you shock easier for like big bitches and bosses. You can toss one grenade or splash them a couple times with water, then toss one grenade to allow you to have that instant you're stunned, which is incredibly handy. And speaking of grenades, I do think grenades themselves should also get enhanced and should get more things. Like a splash grenade. A wall grenade to allow you to have that, oh shit, there's a horde and I'm not ready. Slam it down and you're able to like cut off a corridor or give you cover, something like that they can bust down. Where it's not a guaranteed you can't come through here now, it is just a slow them down. Kind of like building a wall or building barriers in Call of Duty Zombies. Something like that to allow you to have that instant nope type of effect. Stuff like that to allow more tactical play. And with that, with tactical play, I do think that the guns should have more customization except for just a perk system. Like allowing you to put on scopes. Because I personally do not like iron sights, but this game has pretty good hip fire, so it's not really that big of a deal. But I do thoroughly enjoy having more like red dots, more floating reticle than iron sights, because I can see what's below the reticle than just what's on my iron sights. That's just personally how I like playing. And to be honest, that's about it. It sounds thinking back, that sounded like a good bit of changes, but it's really not that many. It's just a little adjustments here and there for the base gameplay. For the jobs, I do think that they should go with a random job, where it's not one of these. And the reason why they do have these is because of the currency up top. Each one of them you can only get in a specific place, so there is a reason to go to each one. But I do think there should be like a random, instead of these different materials, there should be another material called uh, frequency adjuster, something like that. And the next thing when it comes to jobs, because each one of these jobs highlights a different thing. Like hotfix, splash kit is kind of the best. Paper chase, and that's the one I'm going to be doing, is pretty fun is pretty fun and has a very unique mechanic, a very unique enemy type that is the paper guys that run around that spread paper, which sounds pretty stupid, but if you're affected with paper, you can't see as well, and also different things. This allows you to have the rocks are their own general game mode, and they're not game mode effect, which is radiation. That should actually also be a grenade, like the splash grenade I talked about, or the wall grenade, having like a radiation grenade. To have instead of a you can't come through here, you're now getting damage in this AoE that stays for a little bit, not necessarily the entire map or something like that, but instant, I'm giving you damage, so you can't just run through. And there could be a fire grenade, there could be other things to allow you to have more blocking off the horde, because this game is a horde shooter. They come in waves, and sometimes it looks like one enemy just elongated because there's that many things running at you, and it's really fun to see. This one is just a pain in the ass. There's so much slowdown, it's just slow. But the slow does affect the enemies. Same with all of these, they do affect the enemies, which does help out, because you can use like the rocks and ground control, place them around in different places to give you more, what's the word, coverage, so you can actually use them as traps basically, which is pretty handy. Frequency shift is very globular, I think that's what I'm trying to say, because there's so many different pink globs that itself is actually a pretty cool thing that could be added onto the bash kit that I talked about to allow you. Okay. The pink globs give you a debuff that stacks up. Each one of these has a different debuff, but this one is when you're at max stacks, you actually see the pink on your hands. When you take fire damage or get hit with a melee attack, you explode. Same with the enemies. You can actually see one that's pinked, punch them in the face, and they will explode, doing decent bit of damage to them, and I don't know if it does damage to you. I forget that. But that is something that could also be added to the general player kit. And each one of these is very handy, but I do think that there should be a sixth one that is very similar to like Deep Rock Galactic map generation, where it's random areas, random maps, and not even necessarily one of these modes. Like, it shouldn't even be one of these. It should be its own, like, trying to think of one from Control that would be pretty fun, because that is actually from Control, that is actually from Control. The destination itself is actually from Control. That one is the Foundation area, that one is the Furnace, that one I don't think is a thing in Control, neither is these two. But, trying to think. There could be a what's it called? The ashtray maze. There we go. There could be the ashtray maze in there. There could be a couple other things to allow you to have more flexibility and freedom with just playing the same thing over and over again, because all these are the same map, same objectives, not necessarily the same places for the objectives, because sometimes they do change, sometimes the map itself changes slightly, like where things are. Not necessarily power boxes, or not power boxes, but like where the ammo and showers are, where the different bonuses are, like the turrets and different things like that, are changes over time with each go-through, which is pretty finicky, to say the least, because they do really matter. If you're, say, doing the ground control, you need a shower, because you can't get off the radiation unless you take a shower. So figuring out where that is kind of tedious every single go-through. And tedious in a good way, not a bad way, because it does add on that extra layer of challenge. Starting off the kit showcase with the Splash Kit. The Splash Kit allows you to rev it up, or have a charge up big glob that you can do. Each one of them gives you different amounts of water that can come in handy. The big glob isn't that handy because it doesn't have a lot of range, but it does have a lot of AoE, like you saw there. This is for the electric kit, but if you don't have the electric kit, you can do that, and that's for every single thing that you don't have. It allows you to fix it. The water kit is very good because it gets rid of any debuff. Paper, pink, fire, and that's about it. Because that's the only debuffs that really affect the player. That isn't like cold, and that just gets amplified if you're wet. Radiation doesn't get affected unless you take a shower, stuff like that. This game is also pretty big on exploration because there's a lot of different places that have bonuses. Paperwork that gives you more upgrade materials and the ability to unlock more things like cosmetic choices, materials, all sorts of different things. You can also easily use the environment to damage the enemies. And yourself pretty easily, so watch out.
I'll skip the service elevator and send any future volunteers straight to that safe room you open.
This is the teapot. The teapot allows you to, instead of shooting water, shoot fire, which, like you just saw there, is an easy way to kill yourself, because, damn. But it also allows you to turn the portable showers into portable flamethrowers, which is incredibly handy for things like this.
Sorry, I'm late.
And this is the charge kit. The charge kit allows you to affect electricity very easily, like charging batteries, and allows you to stun things with electricity, which is incredibly handy.
That safe room open? You got a new place for fresh volunteers to come through.
The ones that look like they have rock all over the torso actually have their body, relatively speaking, sticking out their back. You only have the ability to damage them if you shoot their body sticking out their back. and this is the fix kit. It allows you to sprint very fast, knock over enemies, and have a decent melee attack. The melee attack isn't good, but it allows you to do stuff like that very fast, instantly, basically. Which there's a lot of different things you can fix here and there depending on what is going on and what is broken.
Whatever it takes to turn those notes into scrap. Safe room secured. Now take a look around for anything useful.
Shielding out!
Like every snippet I showed each one of the different kits, this one is also going to be on easy. And no corruption, no problems really, so I'm going to try my best to just speedrun it as fast as possible. And if that wasn't very clear, this is going to be the run where I actually complete it.
Reports of rogue sticks showing up across the highway. Time to cut back their numbers.
The reason why this actually works so well, or the reason why I'm able to get back the super basically, is because of one of the perks. Where doing your task, relatively speaking, like extinguishing, stuff like that, gives you, or extinguishing, fixing, or charging, gives you your super back faster.
Good to go. set. Water in my boots.
Nice one. With that safe room open, you got a new place for fresh volunteers to come through.
Enemy is down. Enemy's down. Good work.
It does make shock a lot easier. Hell yeah.
Next zone open.
Every single time you open a door, a lot of enemies spawn. Be it a safe room or the next area room.
Let's make sure that's in the report. Woo!
And there's the paper dude.
The longer you hang back, the more hiss realize where you are. Get moving.
Come on!
Okay, when they're wet, they become a lot more vulnerable. Like the boss, that makes a lot of sense. I know there's one more, and I don't want to go to the next area with this one just running around.
Good job, everyone.
Ah, there's two more. Why is there so many?
We've got shufflers ahead. There's no avoiding it. Take them down and contain the zone.
Nice work.
I like your progress.
Wonder if that's a response to me doing the objective. Because it kind of is one massive sentience for all the paper dudes, including the final boss. Because there's a lot of them.
Thank God. It's down.
Containment door open.
No!
Shit! And that's what happens when you get too much paper on you. You instantly die. And then become a paperboy. Which is why I've been trying to clear the herd.
Nice. No more shields. Nothing like a little chica. Ah, just what I needed.
Next zone's already open. No dawdling.
No, I said I was going to speedrun this, but I'm having fun trying to parkour up. Okay, this entire one is actually pretty cool.
And it's down. Thank God for that.
Guns aren't gonna give us up on their own. That's why we risk our lives getting those machines in place. Turn them on. This zone, Sticky Ricky, is the quota. Keep your focus on bringing him down. He goes down, you're good.
Ah, shielding out. Let's get low. Got him. Nice and clean.
And the only thing that changes between the different difficulties is the amount of enemies. So there's always going to be the amount of damage and stuff like that. Just the enemy count will change heavily. And it does not rely on how many players, which is interesting.
Yes!
My feelings. How dare you, sir?
That's more like it. Oh, I needed this. Go team!
Ah, I did it in the wrong order. Shit. Hopefully it doesn't matter that much. I think I actually did it in the right order. I think that one is a hell of a lot better to do. Water, then the electricity. I don't know if I said this exactly, but to tell what you need for each task is actually the symbol in the circle. So that was the electric one, over there is the wrench. And if you have that as your thing, you can actually easily just walk up and do it.
Shield down!
Ha-ha! Got him! Now check your boots, your helmets, your skivvies. No rogue stickies back to HQ. Got that?
That's the good stuff.
Elevator's on its way.
Ooh, the time changes on the different difficulties, because that is typically for me 200 seconds. I was gonna say 2 minutes, but that's not 2 minutes. And that was just one boy. I'll take it.
Service elevators at your location.
And sometimes that actually breaks, which makes it where you can't
got a
actually
force of Hess
do it.
brewing up nearby. Shouldn't be too long before they
like that. Shit. Okay.
Get in that elevator.
And
Rocco.
now, let me leave.
Job done. Drop your boots at the incinerator and get on home.
With all that said, shown and done, I hope you all enjoyed the video. And I will catch you on the next one.